Good afternoon, everybody. John Boutte, Buffalo Sports Museum. We're back again on this very cold January day here in Buffalo with another episode of In the Vault, Buffalo Sports Museum. Today we look back to January 24th, 1978. The Buffalo Sabres and the city of Buffalo are getting ready to host the 31st National Hockey League All-Star Game, which will take place at the Aud on that day on January 24th, 1978. It's the first time that the Sabres obviously hosted the All-Star Game, debuting in 1970. And it would be the last, unfortunately. In this game in 1978, Buffalo had two representatives this time, Gilbert Perreault and Richard Martin were suiting up for the Wales Conference as they took on the Campbell Conference. And a lot is remembered from this game, mostly because that guy Gilbert Perreault scored the game winner in overtime, a 3-2 overtime victory to pace the Wales team to that 3-2 victory. The Campbell actually opened the scoring in that game in the first period. Bill Barber scoring and Dennis Potvin making it 2-0 before the end of the first period. The second period ended with Toronto Maple Leaf Wales team member Daryl Sittler getting a goal to cut the lead to 2-1. And in heroic fashion, the game was tied up at the end of the third with a minute 39 to go in the game. Richard Martin tied the game up at 2-2. The game would go to overtime, and that's where Perreault would win the game with the overtime goal. Funny thing in this game, odd thing, you would think that Perreault, being the hometown player and the man that scores the overtime game-winning goal, would win the MVP award, but that wasn't the case. The hockey writers, National Hockey League hockey writers, picked Sabres nemesis and Islander all-star goalie Billy Smith to win the MVP award. And, when you look back on it, Perreault probably should have got it, but Billy Smith, when you look at the stats of the game, go in depth in the stats of the game, the Campbell Conference was outshot in the game 40-12. I mean, imagine that in an all-star game, only getting 12 shots on goal for the Campbells. Isn't that amazing? So Billy split the game with Flyers goalie Wayne Stevenson. At the time was the other all-star game goalie for the Campbells, not Bernie Parent. Parent had been injured that season, and Wayne Stevenson actually stepped in and did a great job of tending the goal for that season of the Flyers. But Billy Smith pitched a shutout in his half of the game, holding the Wales team scoreless, and he did play, from all accounts, brilliantly. So I can understand, part of me understands why Billy got the MVP award. I remember at the end of the game, and for some reason, Phil Esposito took the mic, and after they announced the MVP would be going to Billy Smith, the Aud crowd went crazy with boos, and Phil just said, "Man, give the guy a break." And I think that was funny that Phil chose that moment to do that. But Billy was such a good goaltender, especially against the Sabres. He really was rock solid. But yeah, I could see giving the MVP to Perot. I mean, in front of the hometown fans. But anyway, it was a fun time. It really was. It was when the NHL, the center of the National Hockey League, came to Buffalo. It was a fun week leading up to that. There was lots of events going on in Buffalo at that time, and they had the night before they had the All-Star dinner dance, which was held at the Statler Hilton the night before, and it's fun to go through that little program and see the festivities and who participated in that. Clarence Campbell and Seymour Knox and Ted Darling and Rick Jeanneret. And oddly, the invocation was given by Danny Gare. Our own Buffalo Sabre, Danny Gare, gave the invocation for that, which I found really cool. Usually you don't find a player that gives the invocation. But it really was a great time in Buffalo. It was a sellout. As you see by all the different section ticket stubs, the hardest one by far to find of these is the standing room one. Standing room tickets were always the hardest to find. There was only several hundred standing room tickets for any given Sabres game. So the green standing room ones are always the hardest to find when you're collecting ticket stubs, especially from that game, because most people held on to their stubs. They didn't throw them on the ground. So not a great amount of memorabilia from then. The biggest thing you see out memorabilia-wise is the pennants. And what was common for the time was the pennant sold at the game would just be the regular National Hockey League All-Star game with the date and the place. And then after the game, in games, Sabre games to come for the rest of the season, you could purchase the score pennant at the odd souvenir stands. As you see, the Wales Conference 3, Campbell Conference 2, and this is the one sold during the game. The puck is always very difficult to find from that game. The commemorative puck, there was only a few hundred of those made. Sometimes the little mini sticks come up. Once in a while, the program obviously comes up in the button and the bumper stickers and things like that. But the media pack with the tickets to the dinner dance is kind of fun too. You don't really see a lot of those. Those usually don't exist. And then there was a nice mug that they released selling at the souvenir stands. But it really was a great event. It made Buffalo shine. The Odd never looked better. It's a shame that it hasn't come back to Buffalo, especially seeing with the new arena in the 90s, late 90s, and the early 2000s. You think at some point it would have come back to Buffalo, but I think the NHL has gone to cities that have better accommodations, things like that, the convention centers for the big fan fest and things like that. So I kind of get it, but it sure was a great time in Buffalo, and the National Hockey League really did put on a nice event here back on the week of January 24th, 1978. We hope you liked the show, the segment. Thanks again for all your comments. Keep them coming. We love to hear them. Thanks. Have a great one. Bye-bye.